are on the ground here in Uvalde, just going through our after start checklist, make sure we got everything. Check our standby generator. It's working, and it is. Good. Alright, so we're here in Uvalde. We just dropped off a couple passengers, and we're taking this beautiful 182 or TBM 850 G1000 back to Houston Executive. They're using runway 13. Let's get the weather.
Port. Automated weather observation 2026 Zulu weather wind 280 at 11 gusts 18 visibility 10 clear below 12,000 temperature 27 Celsius dew point -1 altimeter 2993 remarks density altitude 2,600.
Alright, so winds are 280 at 11, so we're going to be using runway 33. So my plan, I'm just going to take off VFR and we'll call Houston Center after departure and pick up our IFR since it's a beautiful day today. So we'll make an advisory call, turn on our taxi light. Uvalde traffic, TBM 363 Echo Alpha will be taxiing from the FBO to runway 33 for departure, Uvalde. I know on the way over there some thunderstorms, and I think there's going to be some on the way back over there too, so we'll anticipate those. We're going to go ahead and put our weather radar in standby mode so it can warm up. That way we have it available to us for when we need it. For now, I'm just going to put flight plan in, just put from Uvalde to Houston Executive, Tango, Mike, Echo. We're going to come up, we have to cross the runway here, cross runway 3315 to get on the other side. The parallel taxiway is on the other side, so we have to taxi across, so we'll make a call real quick. Uvalde traffic, TBM 363 Echo Alpha will be taxiing across runway 3315 at Foxtrot, Uvalde. So we're clear to the left, check to the right, we're clear. We're also going to light it up just so that we're more visible for any aircraft coming in. Spend minimum time on the runway. Uncontrolled fields, crossing runways is always a possibility for an incident. On the other side, we'll clear. Turn off the landing lights. Uvalde traffic, TBM 363 Echo Alpha is clear of runway 1533, taxiing to 33 for departure, Uvalde. So we're gonna go through our for takeoff checklist. So flight controls, free and correct. This is the second flight of the day, so I'm not gonna feather the prop again. Our takeoff briefing, if we lose an engine on the ground, we're going to stay on the ground and use braking as necessary to come to a stop. Below 1,000 feet, we're going to go straight ahead within 30 degrees and just find somewhere nice to land, or try to at least. Above 1,000 feet, we have enough altitude to turn around and come back. We'll come back from one of the runways depending on what our altitude is. And 1,000 feet is going to be 1,960 on the altitude. We're going to set takeoff flaps. We'll get our lights and our anti-ice switches at the end, right at the end of the runway here, right before takeoff. And then we've already done the prop overspeed test on the first flight of the day, so we don't need to do that. My plan is I'm going to depart runway 33 and just turn towards direct to Houston Executive. I'll get a little bit of altitude, clear the area, then I'll switch to Houston Center, call them, make contact with them, and get our IFR clearance from them. Again, we can do that today because it's a nice VFR day, obviously. If it was IFR here, we'd need to get the clearance on the ground, but this just kind of expedites things. That way we don't have to pick it up on the ground and wait for them to get back to us and release us for departure. So this expedites things a little bit. Alright, we're going to turn our anti-ice switches on, our lights, landing lights on, make a call. Uvalde traffic, TBM 363 Echo Alpha is departing runway 33, will be right turn out to the east, Uvalde. Clear final, clear the runway. We're going to taxi out to the runway lineup and we'll hold the brakes. Alright, we're holding the brakes. We're going to bring the torque up to 40%. Check all of our gauges. Everything's in the green. We release the brakes, smoothly add power as we accelerate. We're looking for about 95% torque. A little crosswind today, that's good enough for the torque. Our speed is alive. We're looking for 85 for our rotate. There it is, a little bit of back pressure. We're showing a positive rate, gear comes up. Keeping our power below 100% because we're not in 850 mode yet. There's 110 knots, flaps come up. Flaps are indicating up, we'll come into 850 mode. Now we can go up to 121%. We'll put on our yaw damper just to help with our rudder trim. Uvalde traffic, TBM 363 Echo Alpha is making a right turn onto the east Uvalde. Let people know what we're doing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set 17,500. That keeps us from going into A airspace before we get our IFR clearance. And they'll assign us altitudes. Take our flight bars, we'll put it in nav mode, direct enter, enter. We have this button on the yoke, it's called control wheel steering, and when you press it, it syncs your flight bars to your current pitch attitude, excuse me. That way, not flying through or underneath your flight director. Alright, we're going to set up flight level change to climb at about 150 knots. We'll turn the autopilot on. There's no clouds or visible moisture up in the distance, so we're going to go ahead and turn off the inertial separator. I'm not worried about icing right now. Uvalde traffic, TBM 363 Echo Alpha is departing the area to the east, final call Uvalde. So as we turn the inertial separator off, it causes our torque to increase, so we're just watching that. We want to make sure it doesn't go above that 121.4% limit. We're going to switch to Houston Center. I got pen and paper here ready to copy our clearance. Houston Center, November 363 Echo Alpha, just off Uvalde.
363 Echo Alpha, Houston Center, squawk 4505.
Squawk 4505, 363 Echo Alpha.
363 Echo Alpha, radar contact, 1 miles east of Uvalde Airport, altitude.
363 Echo Alpha is leaving 6,700.
363 Echo Alpha, roger, cleared to Tango Mike Echo via S-File, via San Antonio and the touchdown to S-File, climb maintain, follow 210.
Alright, San Antonio, touchdown to as filed, file 210 for 363 Echo Alpha to Houston Executive. Alright, so San Antonio for the touchdown.
508 Charlie Papa.
So we're just going to go procedures,
for Kerrville and your approach request.
select the arrival.
Yeah, we have both, and we have the field of sight for each
San
other.
Antonio transition.
508 Charlie Papa, roger, clear visual approach Kerrville Airport.
We'll go direct to San Antonio.
We'll get a little closer and cancel during time.
Heading bug. Alright, so we're heading direct to San Antonio for the touchdown to arrival to Houston. Alright, we're passing 18,000, so our altimeters go to 2992, that's the standard setting. We're now in the flight levels. Pressurization, we're verifying. We're now at our at 5,800 feet, which is our selected altitude, so we shouldn't be climbing or descending much more than like 30 feet either way.
November 363 Echo Alpha, contact Houston Center 132.8.
132.8, 363 Echo Alpha, take care.
Bye.
Houston Center, TBM 363 Echo Alpha, 187, climbing 50210, good afternoon.
363 Echo Alpha, Houston Center, roger.
Alright, so yeah, we shouldn't be climbing or descending more than a couple, 20, 30 feet. That's totally normal. Differential's 4.9. That's going to
clear direct Beller.
Direct to Beller, 3 Echo Alpha, thank you. Direct to Beller. And good, it's making the turn. So our differential is going to continue to climb. That we just want to make sure it doesn't go above our max of 6.2.
13 Whiskey, change
and then
to my
cabin temp knob, I feel comfortable. You just adjust that for comfort.
Thank you.
1 to go to our selected altitude. It's armed. One of the really nice things about the G1000
Tango
TBM,
1, Houston Center, roger. San Antonio altimeter is 2992.
you don't have to have your charts for climb and cruise power. It automatically gives you this little caret here. It's telling you that you can put the torque at that caret for your climb setting, and you're within limits of the engine and everything. So that's really nice and handy. You don't have to go search through the charts to find your power settings. So we're leveling off here at 210.
And DJ Go 1, you looking for the high ILS or high tack end?
We'll run through our cruise checklist. Cruise power, we'll get another bar in just a minute telling us where we can set our cruise power, so we'll wait for that to come up.
Django 1, roger. Maintain 17,000.
Pressurization.
And cleared, you said high ILS?
We're going to confirm that everything's looking
Django 1,
good.
maintain 15,
We're below our
and
max
until W
differential.
cleared, high ILS, runway 15 to Kelly.
Fuel quantity, we have plenty of fuel to get to executive, and it's pretty well balanced
Django
right
1,
now.
just let approach know about the vectors.
DI systems, we're going to monitor. Right now we're above all the visible moisture, so I'm not too concerned about it, but we'll continue to monitor, and if we need to use the DI systems, we will. And cabin temp knob, I still feel comfortable. So now we have our little bar, we just have a tiny little bar here. What that's telling us is that we can do our max torque of 121.4. We're going to leave it set a little bit below. I don't like to get super close to that setting. So right here is good, and I'm just going to monitor it. As we accelerate, we may increase a few percent, so there's that. I'm going to go ahead and set up our VNAV profile. I know that they like us to cross Beller at 6,000. So I'm going to set that up for a 2-degree glide slope.
Jetlinks 247, contact San Antonio approach 125.7.
And to stay on top of descent, we're going to want to start descending in just under 13 minutes. A pretty good tailwind up here, 45 knots. So currently we're doing 283 knots true airspeed and 332 knots ground speed, which I'll take it. I like going fast.
520 Romeo Papa 10-6 on the 1.
So we're done with our cruise checklist. The next will be the descent
520
checklist.
Romeo Papa Houston Center, clear direct Mercer, climb maintain, level 230.
Mercer,
nice thing
230, Romeo Papa.
About the G1000 is we get all of our weather next-rad radar displayed. So looking at our flight path, there's a couple little cells, but not too much, and then at the airport it's just green, which a lot of times doesn't even show up as precipitation in the airplane. So I'm not too concerned about weather, but I'm going to continue to monitor it. And if we start seeing weather ahead of us, I'll pull up the weather radar, the actual onboard radar.
247, 125.7, 25.7.
The advantage to the actual radar is this next rad radar is currently 4 minutes old. It refreshes every
November 8513
4 to
with
7 minutes usually.
Stay altitude.
So that
Roger, you're
it's
stay
delayed, and that may not seem like a lot of time, but when you're dealing with
altitude, I'm going to have a hard time keeping radar with you. Just give you advice. You do have
fast-moving
traffic at 12 o'clock
storms,
and 11 miles. I'll keep you on the squawk for now.
4 to 7 minutes could be a big deal.
He's showing 1,000 feet VFR northbound.
So our onboard weather radar is real time, so you get a better picture. The issue with the
Roger, I'll let you know if I start picking you up again.
onboard weather radar is you don't get as big of a picture, so you can't see as far out, and if you have a cell in front of you that you're depicting on your onboard radar, you can't see behind it usually. So combine the two of them and you get a really nice real-time picture for the close stuff.
Do you want straight in, or are you going to do the turn for alignment?
And a big picture for the further out stuff. And so combined together, it's a really, really nice setup, and that's one of the great things about this G1000.
Number 363 Echo Alpha, descend and maintain 13,000, San Antonio altimeter is 2990.
All right, so maintain 13,363 Echo Alpha.
11.
All right, 13,000. He's starting us down a little early, so I'm not going to be in a huge hurry to get down unless he asks us to go down quickly. So, 900 feet a minute for now is good. We're going to slowly bring down the power, set our pressurization for landing. And we'll run through our descent checklist. Inertial separator, I'm going to leave off for now. We do have some visible moisture down here in the form of clouds. I think
1699, contact Houston.
We're probably going to miss most of it, and we may be above freezing by the time we get into it. So for now, I'm going to leave it off. If I need to reassess and turn it on later, I can.
1166, clear direct G-man.
Pressurization is set. Fuel selector. It's pulling from the left tank right now. It's a little. We got a 10-gallon imbalance, so I'm going to monitor that and hopefully get on top of that. The issue with this is it has an automatic tank selector, so in flight, every 5 minutes it switches. Sometimes it doesn't, for one reason or another, it gets unbalanced, so we can go in and manually change it as needed.
Whiskey ident.
We're just going to monitor that. The ATIS, let's see if the ATIS is coming in yet.
70 at 17, gust 26, visibility 7 miles, few clouds at 4,300.
Direct to Beller, 363 Echo Alpha.
3520 areas of
turn us back direct to Beller.
15 miles, extend to northeast. I'll have lower for you, and let me know if you need to deviate, and just advise.
Okay, we're good to go.
Wind 170 at 17, gust 26, visibility 7 miles, few clouds at 4,300, ceiling 7,000 broken, temperature 24, dew point 18, altimeter 29 96. Expected visual approach, runway 18, advise you have uniform. Executive primary information, uniform 1955 Zulu weather, wind 1.
Alright, so we have information uniform, winds are 170 at 17, gust into 26. Everything else is looking good for a visual approach. So we're expecting some winds out of the south.
3520 to maintain 9,000.
It's going to be runway 18, visual approach, but we're going to back it up with the RNAV. So I'm just going to load the RNAV to 18 via vectors, just so we can load that in for situational awareness once we get in.
Beller 3 Echo Alpha, cross Beller, add and maintain 8,000.
Okay, cross Beller at maintain 8,000, 363 Echo Alpha. Alright, so we got Beller at 8,000, not 6,000, so I changed that there. We'll be just fine. I'm going to slow down the rate of descent a little bit, just that'll help slow us down a little bit for penetrating these clouds and everything.
Southwest 1699, Houston Center, roger, good afternoon. Descend and maintain flight level 190.
And we'll set 8,000 in
190,
here.
Southwest 1699.
Alright, 8,000 set and armed. So I'm not going to level off. I prefer to continue the descent rather than leveling off and starting descents again. That's just a personal preference for me. So I'm just going to keep descending.
At over 3 Echo Alpha, my mistake on the altitude, cross Beller, add and maintain 6,000.
Alright, we'll do our best for Beller at maintain 6,000, 3 Echo Alpha, shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thanks.
Alright, so Beller at maintain 6,000.
Southwest 109, descend via the Beller 3 arrival, Wharton altimeter 2994.
I thought that's what it was going to be.
2994, descend via the Beller 3,
Vertical track.
109.
So it's saying that we're coming up on our VNAV. I'm going to go ahead and arm the VNAV so it'll capture that.
Alpha, thanks for the help. Contact Houston approach 123.8. Have a good day.
123.8, 363 Echo Alpha, anytime. Good job. So long.
AC 2786.
Alright, so we have 6,000 in here, 6,000 set here. Our VNAV will capture because it's armed. Houston approach, now we have information, Victor. Houston approach, November 363 Echo Alpha, 8,300, descending across Beller at 6,000. Information, Victor, good afternoon.
363 Echo Alpha, Houston approach, good afternoon. Expect the RNAV runway 18 approach at Houston Executive.
Alright, if possible, we'd like to try for the visual for 363 Echo Alpha.
Number 3 Echo Alpha, roger. You can proceed direct to Houston Executive Airport and maintain 6,000.
Alright, direct to the airport, maintain 6,000, 363 Echo Alpha. Alright. We're going to go direct to Houston Executive, maintain 6,000, that's in. I told them that we'd like the visual for 18,
last
so
calling approach, you're broken again.
what we're going to try and do. Because we're not going direct to Beller anymore, our VNAV isn't armed, so I'm going to just set 1,000 foot per minute descent.
Number 9055 Golf Bravo, Houston approach, roger. Number 2 Romeo Juliet, descend and maintain 3,000, turn left heading 360.
Left turn 360 down to 3,000, 2 Romeo Juliet.
Go ahead and look at the weather just on here again, just make sure that the visual is still a viable option. They're still showing it good.
Expect the visual approach runway 17 at Sugarland, descend and maintain 5,000.
On down to 5,000, Kronos 176.
So we're currently 22 miles from the airport.
Romeo Juliet, turn right heading 050.
Sending through 5,200, showing about just under 5 minutes out. 200, just over 200 knots. Going down to 3,000. Everything's looking good. I'm starting to get ground contact out of here, so I definitely think the visual approach is a viable option. If not, we have the RNAV loaded up in here. We can always revert to that and do that if necessary. But I'm hoping to get the visual, and I think it looks like it's going to be possible today.
Number 3 Echo Alpha, the TME airport's 12 o'clock, 8 miles reported inside.
Alright, 363 Echo Alpha, we just picked it up.
Number 3 Echo Alpha, cleared visual approach runway 18.
Cleared the visual, 18, 363 Echo Alpha. Just got it in sight, he cleared us for the visual, so this is where I typically like to start hand flying it. So I'll take the autopilot off, I turn the yaw down, keep the yaw damp on. Start turning, I'm planning on entering the right downwind for 18. It's going to set us up nicely.
3 Echo Alpha, contact Executive Tower 126.907, good day.
Over to Tower 363 Echo Alpha, take care. The flight director off. Approach check, contact him. Executive Tower, TBM 363 Echo Alpha with you on the visual for 18. We're 6.5 miles to the southwest.
TBM 363 Echo Alpha, Executive Tower, report the right downwind, runway 18.
We'll report the right downwind for 18, 363 Echo Alpha. Through our approach checklist, our altimeters are set, inertial separator, we're below 200 knots, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. Propeller is max, fuel gauges, we're second from the left, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of 850 mode, I just can't go above 100% torque at this point. 363 Echo Alpha, midfield right downwind 18.
TBM 363 Echo Alpha, runway 18, wind 180 at 20, gust 24, clear to land.
18, clear to land, 363 Echo Alpha. When we're clear to land, our taxi light goes on, that's our reminder. We're beam the numbers now, we're below 178 still, so our gear's going to come down. And we're going to bring our power back to about 25%. Start a little bit of a descent. There's 3 green, no red on the gear. We're looking outside, looking for about 45 degrees off the end of the runway, that's when we'll turn base. I'm going to land with just 1 notch of flaps today. I'm going to want a final approach speed of between 100 and 110 knots. Alright, so before landing checklist, we have 3 green, no red. Inertial separator is on, flaps are set, yaw damp to go. So yaw damp to go and we are clear to land. Three green, no red. Inertial separator is on, flaps are set. Yaw damp's now away, our before landing checklist is complete. We are 3 green, clear to land. A little bit fast still, work a little more power out. We do have a little bit of some gusty winds, so I'm not too concerned with getting it right on 110. I like to carry a little bit of extra speed, and we have plenty of runway to do that. As we get over the fence and start getting right over the runway, I'm going to start working the power to idle, which that'll be not quite yet. Woohoo. Alright, start slowly, just working a little bit of power out, slowing us down just a touch. Then we're over the runway, work the power all the way to idle, and I'm just holding the airplane off. I want to hold it off and not let it touch for as long as possible.
Airspeed, airspeed.
I'm up over the gate into beta. Still got the nose wheel up, smoothly let it down. We're just going to continue down to Charlie.
363 Echo Alpha, right turn on Charlie, Charlie to the ramp.
Right on Charlie, Charlie to the ramp, 363 Echo Alpha. Alright, so we're going to exit here, taxiway Charlie, get a little bit more beta in there, slow us down for the turn. Alright, so we're clearing the runway, the flaps go up, our torpedo heats go off, landing lights go off, bleed valve goes off. We reset our trims. That's our after landing checklist. Complete. Alright, so we'll go through our after landing flow, taxi light goes, all the lights go off, aux boost pump goes off, fuel select goes off, autopilot trims goes off, inertial separator goes off, we'll feather the prop, bleed valves off, our AC goes off. Now we're going to wait 15 seconds to get to have the prop feathered for 15 seconds. Alright, I think that's been about 15 seconds. Come up over the gate, cut it off. Alright, now I'm going to shut the avionics off, and see you guys next time.